Hello,
And
everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the
Hello.
Next Issue podcast. Today we don't. I guess I'll put it up front. We don't have a. First of all, man, my computer's crapping out. So if I fall off, you're in charge, Clay.
We should,
But
we should name you Arm Fall Off Boy.
yeah, internet fall off boy. But we don't have a specific main topic in mind. We wanted to take a little break and just kind of catch up because there's been a lot of stuff happening this week.
Clay's going to work some shit out on today's show.
Yeah. All right. So grab hold of something as you watch the show. As you can see, we don't have Kyle with us, but I think we should have gifts of him or something I could play that I can't because my computer's not cooperating. So we won't play any of those. But
this is just going to be a 2-hour blooper show.
Yeah, what I can play is the previously on Next Issue banner. And yeah, let's see who wants to. Oh, Clay has a lot of stuff. Let's start with Clay.
Oh man, really? Okay. Hey now. I am going to admit defeat to Kyle, and so I'm glad he's not here. Jerry Duggan's X-Men is better than Way of the X. Way
wow.
of the X in issue 3 loses its way. Gets
Ironically
too weird. It's just. I like Cy Spurrier. He adds like a lot of. I would tend to say his books have a little sci-fi edge to them.
Yeah,
and he's taking on this religion where mutants don't care about their life. And there's this element of them all just kind of having unprotected sex because they can get STDs and heal and they can, but then there's an element of kids. They start having kids and abandoning kids in that book. And I'm like, hey, this is too heavy, man.
Yeah.
Too heavy. Like, I understand the concept of these people feel like they can't die and they have this superpower, but then when they start just abandoning their own kind, I'm just like, I don't want to read this. And X-Men is just a fun book. It is aliens in space are sick of humans, and so they're all gambling on how to kill us. Issue 1, throw a kaiju that looks badass, have Pepe La Raza draw the shit out of it, and that's a fun-ass book.
Ooh.
Second book, here comes another monster. It's just fun. It's just, and it's turned the X-Men into kind of this Justice League for Earth, and I dig it. I'm just, Kyle's right. In two issues, that book got better, and in the third issue of Way of the X-Men, it just shit the bed. Like, I'm going to have a hard time reading it anymore.
Well, so this kind of dovetails into, I think, a news item later. So I guess I'll just ask it here and we can stick a pin in it. But do we think this pivot has to do with the fact that Hickman's now leaving Marvel? And so this whole line that he created, the creative lead on, is gone?
I'm curious. I don't know. I mean, really, shouldn't that be a CB? Shouldn't CB be leading that? I mean, I know.
True.
I know you're putting the author as kind of the world builder in what he's doing, but Daniel and I were talking about this before the show. Is he for sure leaving, or does he have a 5-year contract? Because we assumed he had like a 5-year contract at least. Because I can't imagine them going rebuild our X-Men universe and let's go month to month on that paycheck.
True.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I need to drop out real quick. Sorry.
Okay.
No problem, man. So, that's a huge question. I just don't know if Substack is, because nothing is said anywhere. And I went to the shitty comic site to read the shitty comic news from the site I don't want to talk about. And you know what I'm talking about. And so
does it rhyme with fleeting mule?
That's a bingo. he did put questions to both Hickman and Marvel about the status of the X-Men, and neither had replied. So,
oh, interesting. All right.
Yeah, so there is no comment at this time, but I assume there was at least a 5-year contract. I just can't imagine, you're going to redefine this, and
the only reason I could think they wouldn't have done it is if Marvel execs were scared it would bomb. Like it's like a gamble for them.
True.
So it was kind of like, all right, we're gonna let you do this, right? But let's not lock them in, so we can backpedal if we need to.
Because at times I do feel like they're turning the X-Men into the Inhumans. They're taking
wow,
them,
yeah.
They're grouping them together. They're giving them a community on Earth. Now they're moving them to Mars. Every kind of element of this sci-fi piece makes it look like it's trying to make the Inhumans and the X-Men the same thing. Or not the same thing, but it has similar history. That's more what I'm
especially now that the X-Men are not like being prosecuted and stuff, like because they are, they had like the power dynamics have shifted. So yeah, that's interesting. Especially because we don't have an Inhumans book. We haven't had one in a long time.
And the Inhumans show bombed. So that's interesting. I never thought of it that way. Like, is this about basically repurposing the Inhumans or the concept of the Inhumans? I don't know.
You could take. I mean, once you take the X-Men out into space, and I mean, you could just get really hard sci-fi. I mean, you could turn this book from a superhero book into a sci-fi book to a. I don't know. It's got so many elements. It could be anything, really, depending on in whose hands. And really, after Substack, we're going to see whose hands it's going to end up in.
And I think the cool thing about the X-Men is that there's so many of them that people like. Like, it's not like the Inhumans that, oh yeah, Black Bolt's cool, but like name 3 other Inhumans, right? Karnak and Medusa.
Wait. I'll pick Medusa over Black Bolt any day. You want a silent guy who if he sneezes destroys the world?
So
I mean,
cool. You need to read the Black Bolt maxi series, 12 issues.
I guess so. Yeah, I haven't read that.
I think it was Mahmoud Assar that wrote it, and then Christian Ward was on art. It's beautiful.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Is it just Black Bolt walking around, just thinking to himself?
Black Bolt finds himself in some kind of alien prison, and he needs to break out, and he makes friends along the way.
I want a Black Bolt story that is basically him in a slapstick situation where everything he steps on hits him in the face, and he has to prevent himself from just releasing an expletive.
That's very Silent Bob. Oh, no, Silent Bob.
Yeah, exactly. He steps on a rake and it smacks him in the face.
Sideshow Bob. Yeah.
It's like Black Bolt does yard work. Just.
He's a better comical character than he is a superhero character.
I don't know. I've always found him such an. It's like whoever created Black Bolt, which is probably Kirby, right?
That thing
was like, here's a cool idea, and then basically wrote himself into a corner, and he's like, well, crap. And honestly, if you think about how often characters in Silver Age comics thought to themselves rather than spoke, he's a much easier character to write for in the Silver Age than our age. And again, I say this not having read this amazing Black Bolt maxi series you're referring to.
But in saying that is such a cool concept that I didn't watch the Inhumans, but it feels like if you had a voiceover by Black Bolt throughout the whole show that he could never say anything, that would be amazing just to know whose voice they'd use that would destroy cities. But you just hear him talking.
Yeah. And I don't think the guy who portrayed Black Bolt, I don't remember his name. He's in Star Trek now.
Yeah.
I don't think he was the problem with that show. I think.
No.
Oh no! It just. Yeah.
That was I believe that's a Joe Buck show. The same guy who did Iron Fist.
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
So.
You're Clay.
I'm going to put the blame on the guy who's associated with both shitty shows.
the showrunner. Clay,
Let's
I
just
love
put
your idea. I just want Gilbert Godfrey to be the voiceover.
Oh,
Yeah, that's why it's so powerful. And then he can hang out with Iago, and then we have a show.
A Disney Plus exclusive. This is great. Yeah.
The adventures of Black Bolt and Iago.
Damn! If we just, I need to look up some of that early dialogue and what he was saying in his head, and then just have somebody who can do a great Gilbert read it.
That's okay. You know what? I would be willing to pay whatever that service is where you can get celebrities to say what you want. I would be willing to pay for that. Like, could we have that as a Patreon level? Like, if we get X number of Patreons, we will hire Gilbert Godfrey to read Black Bolt.
Well, they would have to cover his fee.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So shit, I want to play. I want him to dress up in the costume when he reads it too.
That would be so good. That's an additional $1,000, I bet.
Well,
so.
For $175, you can get Gilbert Godfrey to do a cameo for you.
That is not much. I really thought it was gonna be like 500.
So he'll get you he'll make you a video. Yeah.
Gilbert's a cheap guy. Have you heard stories about him?
Mm-mm.
Like, before he got married, like, people would be invited over to his apartment, and he just had lawn furniture. He didn't have real furniture. He just had lawn furniture in there. Like, he would just have the barest of essentials.
That's funny.
That's amazing. That's good. Love it.
I feel like that my place would also be but I would need at least one comfortable chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's key.
People over.
If I wanted to be minimalist, I would need at least one comfortable chair, and then everybody else, whatever. Thanks for coming, but
here's a nice beanbag. Yeah.
Cool. I will say. Oh, sorry, Clay. I just wanted to, because I had to drop off for a little bit. One thing I do really like about Way of X is fucking Legion is back.
Yeah.
And I love the way Cy Spurrier writes Legion, because he did that whole run with them. What was it called? X Legacy a while back. I don't know. Legion is such an interesting character.
And that's the other thing, is like, as much as I was shitting on what the dark shit that book's going to, Legion and Charles Xavier have the talk. He writes finally about, like, hey, you're my dad, and I went through shit. Where the fuck were you? Just kind of have it out. And I was like, oh, okay, well, this is that would be the fun thing to write. It was the other stuff that just kind of brought me down.
Okay. All right. I don't know how much you covered while I was gone.
Oh, just that I was agreeing that Kyle was right. X-Men blew me away in 2 issues, and the X just died on the 3rd one.
It's really good. Like it's weird how you can just, like, you don't like the current X-Men run, just wait till the next one, because it'll probably be your favorite.
Well, the thing that comes to mind in what this X-Men book has become is Earthlings are now the people that are feared and hated throughout the universe, because we're seen as a virus that's destroying a planet that everyone else loves, and so they just want to see us die. Yeah. And they want to make it fun, so they're gambling on it. That's the wildest thing.
That's pretty funny. I love the premise. And then that's just the one thing, right? We still have the setup for the other guy. And from issue 1, that would probably be maybe the second arc. Gary Duggan loves doing that, where he'll set up 2 stories in the first issue, play one out. He did the same thing with Wolverine. They set up 2 stories, one with Wolverine and the FBI agent, one with Wolverine and vampires. The vampires didn't pay off till the second arc.
I love Jerry. I mean, I love his stuff. So, but his X-Men is awesome.
So
it's fantastic.
Maybe if the first arc is good, we can get Josh to read it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll read anything that's fun if I just don't have to read the 18 other books to know what the hell is going on. All right.
I checked out a movie. Do you guys use Pluto to watch anything?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes.
I just did yesterday, actually. Yeah.
Okay. On Pluto, Cold Comes the Night is a great crime movie with Bryan Cranston and Eve Alice.
Oh.
And it's weird because now I look at people and see like what comic book roles they played. So
That's funny.
Eve Alice was Hellcat. This will have the Penguin from Gotham, Robin Lord Taylor, and then I had to look up Logan Marshall Green. Do y'all know who he is?
That name sounds familiar.
He played the Shocker. He was in Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, the second one, Amazing Spider-Man 2.
He was the second Shocker, the one that didn't die.
No. He was the first Shocker. He's the one that did die.
Yeah.
In the Garfield movie, right?
No. In the
he's the Tom Hardy lookalike person.
Yeah, he has the big beard, and he starts talking shit to Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton just goes and toasts.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
gotcha.
Yeah,
okay,
he's in this movie. Man, this movie is awesome. It is just a good crime drama, but really, it just shows off Bryan Cranston and Alice Eve being really, really good. But the interesting part was I looked up who the director was, and he's a comic book guy. It's Z Chun. He's a writer, director, producer, visual artist.
Oh, it's the guy from TKO.
Yeah, we read the 7 Deadly Sins by.
Yeah.
He also
wrote
the Fearsome Dr. Fang.
Yep.
And let's see here. He's working on the new Gremlins Secret of the Mogwai for Warner Brothers.
Cool.
So
that is awesome.
Yeah,
I didn't know he was a doctor.
I love a good crime doctor.
Didn't you put
He's
doctor?
a doctor?
Oh, director. Oh, because
I said the Fearsome Dr. Fang.
The little cursor is on the I where you left it. So I only see the D and the R. I was like, oh, a doctor. I didn't know he had a PhD. Cool. No wonder he's doing all this shit. He's a smart dude. I mean, he's a smart dude regardless, but damn.
Yeah, but now it's weird running so deep that you look at comic book people and they could be directors and screenwriters that have also done comics. So pretty good flick. I love seeing Robin Lord Taylor outside of the Penguin do other roles, and so he's pretty fun in this.
Nice.
Just
added it to my Letterboxd watch list. So
I went to the library. I took my own recommendation, and I got a lot of cool shit. Did you see that Mike Aldred had did a David Bowie book?
Yeah, he was nominated for he won Eisner's for it, I think.
Really? Yeah. Like he wrote Andrew?
Let me show this off.
Wow, no, this is news to me.
Yeah, he was nominated for. I mean, I definitely know he was nominated for an Eisner for the book, and I think he won for it, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Wow. So, I've never seen this.
It is beautiful. I am halfway through it, and it is very detailed in every aspect of, from David Bowie touring, meeting people. If there is a woman who is a lyric in the song, they kind of reference it in the notes in that panel. So if you're a big Bowie fan, this is a fucking awesome book. I was just excited to see this on the shelf. I didn't know it was out. I figured you had probably talked about it, and maybe I just didn't hear it. So
nope. This is all news to me. Thank you. I had no idea.
And then Ethan Hawke did a graphic novel. Did you guys know
Assault on Precinct 13? Ethan Hawke.
Before Sunrise, Ethan Hawke.
Do you remember that movie? Why the fuck do you remember that?
I knew that was gonna get you because he's been in other stuff like Gattaca, or like he's got better movies out there.
Or as we all forget, Midnight. The first. Yep, I mentioned that, but no, what's the one? Is it the? It's not the Purge.
Yeah, the Purge.
He's in the Purge. He's in the first Purge.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I bring that up all the time, and random people are like, "He's not in the Purge." Because I'm like, he's in the first fucking Purge.
Yeah,
like,
him and Lena Headey are in the first Purge. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
But I knew that Assault on Precinct 13 would get a reaction because I know that. It's a remake of a better movie.
And that remake, I sat in the theater, and it was just like just like sitting in 2 hours of shit in your pants. It was just fucking awful. And I was so mad because it had such a great cast and they ruined that fucking movie. It makes me mad.
Oh yeah,
I'm working some shit out on this show. So this is my this is my next book, is I'm gonna check out this Ethan Hawke book.
cool.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know he had done a graphic novel, pulled it right off the shelf, and the art's really beautiful.
That's cool. So we've got him and Kevin Costner as graphic novel / book writers.
And
Yes.
and Miguel Ferrer, we found out last week.
Yes, which I need to write that post up. It's on my to-do list. I'm going to put it on my website. So
And I know Daniel's going to be excited because
fuck yeah.
both deceased books were there. The original and Unkillables. As my slow internet pulls this up. But that Batman cover is fucking incredible. I love how dark
wow, that is nice. Who is that?
Trevor Herstein made that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I've got those 2 books I pulled, and what was the last one? Joe Simon's granddaughter wrote a biography.
I've been
about her
meaning to
life.
read this.
My Captain
Sorry.
America, a granddaughter's memoir of a legendary comic book artist.
Yeah,
So
I've been meaning to
all
read
library
this.
books, all free. So it was a win, total win for me.
And if you hang on to them for 30 years, that Dragnet type library cop comes to your apartment. That's a deep Seinfeld cut. You guys are welcome.
When you said Dragnet, for some reason, the only thing that plays in my head is the soundtrack to RoboCop. I know that's not it. I know that's not it, but that's all I could think of.
I was going to say, has there been a reboot of Dragnet close enough for you to even remember what Dragnet was?
No,
because
I mean, there's
one
the Tom Hanks, Dan Aykroyd.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's
not since.
It's a cop show, right? Like,
yeah,
it is, but it's very like, man, if they did it today, they would have to completely rethink it. Because that show is very like pro cop, pro justice.
Yeah, you can't. You can't do that kind of shit.
No.
Hey, talk to Brooklyn. Tell Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I think they're handling it well.
Well, they are. I've seen the first
season.
2.
I haven't seen them yet.
Yeah.
I'm a little bummed. They're airing 2 back to back, and so I feel like they're just trying to blow through the season.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Let's just get it. Let's just wrap it up. I think I'm just glad we got an 8th season, even though the show's been canceled before.
Yeah,
right.
But that's all I've been up to.
All right, Josh, let's go with your stuff because I have some show and tell. But I do know, but we did read one thing the same, both of us. So.
Yeah, and so we can save it to talk about later if you want, or we can do it now.
No, we can talk about it now.
Okay. The only thing I read this week is the book I was most excited for, Batman 89 #1. Oh, how many covers did you get, man? Because I only bought it digitally.
Oh, really? I want to see, because I saw some of the art online. And I was like, oh, this looks really awesome.
It is really good. It is really good. It's Sam Hamm, so the original screenwriter on 89, is back, and
I've already bagged and boarded my comics, so they will be shiny on the screen.
And God, who's the artist? I'm blanking.
Joe Quinones.
Yeah, thank you. And I think the best headline I've seen online that sums up my feeling about this is someone wrote, Sam Hamm presents the continuation of the Batman 89 universe we didn't know we needed. And it's so true. Like, if you watch Batman 89 and then Batman Returns, they're both good films, but they feel disconnected. There's no linkage really between them, even down to the fact, and this is tragic, but the set designer on 89 first died after that film. And so even like that as a grounding point was lost for Returns, right? This is just so good. I mean, you get the continuation of Harvey Dent.
Yep.
you get, which I really like the fact, because I feel like this is what Sam Hamm would have had in the script in terms of casting. You get his fiance named Barbara, who,
It's
I guess,
Barbara
slight
Gordon.
spoiler, is Barbara
Yeah.
Gordon, not a redhead, which I really like. She's
and
a
not,
brunette.
and she is in no way meant to become Batgirl in this universe.
Right. And she's kind of anti her father. So
Yeah.
you have, you
Oh,
have
really?
this, you have this whole contingent where it's like Harvey Dent and Barbara are kind of on the forefront of the city cracking down on Batman, and they're blaming Commissioner Gordon for basically helping him.
For allowing Batman to happen. Yeah. One of the commenters, because I did a review for this in the channel, somebody mentioned that she's modeled after Winona Ryder, because that's who would have eventually maybe played Barbara
That's
Gordon
cool.
in the movie.
That is cool. I didn't even pick up on that. That's amazing.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Although, God, the age disparity between her and
that's really weird age.
Yeah,
Billy D.
Well, and so Quinones does a great job of, like, I think, updating the character designs. Oh wow, that's weird.
So I got this commission from Joe in 2019, and I just asked him to draw his favorite Batman. So I don't know if he was already working on this book and he had that kind of in mind, because
that could be, because
it looks very 89ish.
That lower jaw looks like his design of the Michael Keaton jawline. But man, it's so he does a great job of, like, kind of updating the characters in a certain way. So he kind of de-ages Harvey Dent a little bit, and it seems like ages up Barbara, so they're much closer in age.
And Bruce.
And Bruce, yeah.
We see gray in his hair.
Which I was trying to think, is that because in Returns he's starting to get that, and so it's like a little allusion to, and I haven't seen Returns in a long time, so I could be wrong, but I do remember him having a little bit of salt and pepper in his temples.
Yeah,
in one of the movies.
I think it's supposed to be a couple years after Returns, because Batman's been around for a while, enough to influence people to become vigilantes themselves, which DC couldn't wait to spoil, like, oh yeah, we're gonna introduce another Robin, and they're like, okay,
yeah, well, I saw the Robin. So is the Robin show up in the first issue?
Oh yeah,
but we don't see him as, I guess, fully Robin outfit or anything. But we do.
No, it's kind of it would be like if in the film they were quick cuts sort of thing. Right. Snips. I did like a lot of the comic references. Did you notice when they're having the parade in the background, one of the Dark Knight Returns Joker mutant guys is dressed up back there, and then they have the big penny, which is great. So that shows up.
I thought that was hilarious. I noted it. I was like, is that how he got the penny?
Yeah, exactly. It's so good. It is just. It seems like it would be so hard to take a beloved film like 89, continue it, and draw it as a comic, and you read it and you feel like you're watching the sequel to that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it is such an amazing accomplishment, and I'm so looking forward to the future issues. It's 6 issues, right?
I think so, yeah. And I'm excited. It makes me very excited for the Superman 78 series that's coming.
Did that not come out the same day?
Not yet. No, I believe that one's either next week or the week after.
Okay.
Weird. Yeah, see, because I feel like this has taken enough time that by having somebody who kind of grew up as a fan of it knows how to take you back to that world. Yeah. Where a lot of the times I feel like when they do those continuations, I don't really feel like the association in Green Arrow or the Smallville comics that kind of came out when the show was out. It was never, it never felt like it had the same vibe of the show.
Yeah, this feels more like the Buffy reboot that we're having right now, that it's people that grew up watching Buffy, but now they're updating it for nowadays, while still keeping the feel of what it feels like to watch Buffy on the TV.
Well, and I would add that I think by bringing in Sam Hamm, there is very much a going to the origin point.
Yeah.
But also, and I can't stress this enough, and I've said this numerous times on the show, the original Jerry Ordway comic adaptation of Batman 89 was a huge influence on me. It is such a beautiful book. And getting an artist like Quinones, thank you, to draw this, whose style, it's not a direct lifting of, but there's enough visual parallels that it's very clear that's what they're referencing. So it would be, this almost feels like Batman the movie adaptation issue 2, to a certain degree. And it's, the cover that you show, Daniel, it evokes that Ordway style to a T. I mean, it's really, really good.
Yeah, if you want to see more Quinones, go read Dial H for Hero. Where
I meant to read that. Is that the New 52 one?
No, it's the, I guess Bendis. I don't know what it's called.
Wonder Comics.
Yeah, Rebirth Wonder Comics. So every time it's more recent, but every time that the Dial H is used and the user becomes a hero, the art changes to that art style. So there's one that switches to like an image type, like 90s image art. One of them is more like a manga Dragon Ball Z style type. Like Quinones is so versatile when it comes to adapting to different art styles. Like reading that just to look at the art changes is probably worth it on its own, but it's still a pretty good story overall. I think it's only 12 issues, and I'm sure it's collected already or Hoopla or something like that. So I very much recommend it.
Cool.
Okay, and
sorry. I notoriously, over the past 2 days, have only watched half of films. I haven't made it all the way through one. But what one was, what was the other one? Sorry, I had a second one in my head and then it went away. Anyway, one was that I didn't even know this existed. I was sitting here doing some work, and so on my little Google Home screen over here, I just decided I was going to throw up something in the background. So I'm going through like the live TV channels, and I see airing on some channel locally Invasion of the Body Snatchers. So I'm thinking, oh, cool. I've seen the 50s movie. I love it. I turn it on. It is like this dark, gritty, like it's 1970s with like Donald Sutherland. I'm like, what is this? And I start watching.
That one.
Yeah. I mean, and I am just sucked in. And so I stop it and I go out and I tell my wife about it. She's like, well, I want to see this. So it's on Pluto TV. And we started from the beginning because I came in like probably a third of the way through. So I was really confused. There is a baby Jeff Goldblum in it. Baby Jeff Goldblum. He can, I mean, I don't know if it's his first movie role, but it's pre-Fly, right? Because it's 78? 78. It's pre Cronenberg's Fly. It is just, I mean, it is wild and it is really, really good. Like there's just a lot of subtext that I'm glad we started from the beginning because I kind of came in. It has Leonard Nimoy playing a kind of like a popular psychologist who is famous for the books that he writes. I don't know. It's a really fascinating movie.
Who today would be a Dr. Phil type.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And I meant to do a deep dive. I'm kind of waiting until I get to the end credits so I can pause them because in the beginning, so the two main characters work for the public health department in San Francisco. And so there is a kind of really subtle thing they do at the beginning where Donald Sutherland's character is in like a fancy French restaurant. He's doing a health inspection. And the whole time he's there, all of the other chefs in the background are glaring at him. And it's a little nice nod because later in the movie, as more and more people get taken over, people on the street are just staring at the main characters as they walk by, right? Like it becomes this background thing. I swear to God, one of the chefs is Michael Rooker. Oh. I'm looking at the background. I'm like, that looks like Michael Rooker. I don't know if it's him, but I think that's Michael Rooker. So I looked it up on IMDb and it only listed like 30 names and he wasn't in there, but it didn't list any of the actors in that scene. So I don't know. I'm really curious if it's him, but anyway, highly recommend. Yeah. Look for him. There's a shot where when Donald Sutherland pulls the quote unquote caper out of like the soup or whatever, it keeps cutting to the background, and you get this like whole row of chefs, and they all, and like two in the back kind of are leaning further in to glare at him. One is a woman. The one to the right of the woman looks like Michael Rooker. So I don't know. Anyway, I'll stop talking.
And you've seen Rooker in Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer?
I have not. No, I think the earliest thing I've seen him in is probably Mallrats. So he was already pretty aged by that point. So I don't know. I mean, it could just be a actor that looks a lot like Michael Rooker, but I'm going to look him up.
He's in everything. I mean, he's in Fast and the Furious. I mean, come on.
Never seen that. I don't know what that is. Is that a movie about having stomach issues?
Oh boy. I hope not.
It's so weird that they put him in the newest Fast and the Furious, because they actually de-age him, and he plays such a minor role, but they de-age him so that you can see a backstory that's kind of necessary. And then when they show him, you know, as he looks now, it's like maybe 15 minutes of talk and that's it. I mean, it's very it's wild how much money they spent just to have him do that.
Just to have him play his now, like what he looks like now.
Yeah. I mean, he could have been nobody. He could have just been anybody. I mean, but the fact that they got him and
he couldn't be nobody. Nobody's already a character.
Yeah, that's true. He's a nobody character.
You know, this probably isn't him, because I'm on his IMDb page, and his earliest credit is Crime Story from 1986, the TV series. So, I mean, and that was 8 years after this came out. So, yeah. I don't know. Anyway, just a thought. But again, Jeff Goldblum's in it, so you know, it's not impossible.
He's always a win.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Life will find a way. All right. So yeah, let me get through my stuff real quick.
Sorry.
I read Pennyworth #1. This is a continuation of the Epics show Pennyworth that follows Alfred Pennyworth in his time in MI6. It's really good. It makes me want to go watch the show. So I think it did. It served its purpose. I read Batman '89, and then I read the weirdest book I've read in a long time. Defenders #1 by Al Ewing, and Javier Aguirre, I think, on art. I got two. Javier Rodriguez. Sorry. So I don't know if you guys remember that there was this $10 issue called Marvel 1000.
Yes.
Yeah.
We went through it, right?
It was also Al Ewing, right? Yeah.
It introduced the mask rider who wears a mask made up of a piece of eternity. Right. Well, the Masked Rider's back, and he needs Doctor Strange's help putting a team together to like prevent, weird shenanigans from happening.
Shenanigans.
Yeah.
So is this that continuation of what Ewing set up? I might have to read this then, because that was really intriguing. What he did with that.
I think
that was a while back. Like how long?
It was. It was
taken for
like 2 years.
Yeah,
check out some of this groovy art.
Groovy art.
I do.
Oh wow!
I totally dig it. I was gonna pick that up. Josh at my store recommended. He said it was the book of the week. He loved it.
It is. It really. I think it is. Yeah. Like, it's fantastic. This is the opening shot of the book.
That's cool.
It's nice. So cool. It's so cool. Like, yeah. I mean, go check out the full review if you want more. But that was cool. Then I read Motu Revelations issue #2.
I need to read it.
Focuses a lot on Skeletor, which is cool, and also a character named Hordak, which I called Horvac all through my video. So I had to add some edit notes.
Someone didn't watch She-Ra as a kid.
I did not. Oh, I didn't. He's the bad guy from She-Ra?
Yep.
Okay. I know I've seen him before because it's a very recognizable character.
Yeah.
And then because I love listening to How Did This Get Made, they're doing the movie Surrogates this week.
The Bruce Willis movie.
Yes. So I watched Surrogates.
It's based on a comic book.
It's a bad movie. I hope the comic is better.
It's different. What they say about surrogates?
I haven't gotten through it. I just watched it so I can listen to the episode. But I knew about this movie when it came out. I never wanted to watch it because it got bad reviews and it didn't seem interesting. In my review, I put on Letterboxd. I'm watching this because How Did This Get Made is doing it. Only watch it if it's gonna be for a similar purpose. It's not a very good movie. And you guys know I like everything.
I was gonna say I don't remember it being terrible, but is it that bad?
It's so weird. I don't know, Clay. It doesn't. They just don't like. They set up this super really cool, interesting world.
Yeah, because you're essentially like a schlub who can have this body that you can control and go out and do cool shit with.
Yeah.
And if it dies, you just get another body.
Right. And that's really, like I said, really cool sci-fi. But the more I watched the movie, the more I was like, oh, this is just iRobot, but they're doing different things. But you don't even give me because even the main doctor guy that makes the robots is the same actor from iRobot.
Okay.
No, really? That's funny.
But hold on for a second. I know you're comparing iRobot to this, but have you read iRobot? Because I hate that we're using iRobot in the context of some great sci-fi film.
I wasn't using it in that context. I was just saying, like, somebody looked at the script and copied the homework, but changed it.
Someone read the cliff notes.
But then they're like, "Hey, change it so it doesn't look like the same." Like probably Josh knows. He's probably seen some papers or something like that. Change it enough so it's not the same.
Yeah. Every semester, man. Every semester.
Change it enough to trick the machine to whatever.
Right. So then that makes me wonder. I feel like there needs to be a comparison between the novel iRobot and the comic Surrogate, and see if does that parallelism still hold up, or are they both so different from the film versions that they feel like separate things?
God, that was just one of my favorite sci-fi books as a kid.
I've never read it. I've always meant to. I know. I've never read any of what's that series called?
Isaac Asimov.
Yeah. But it's like that's the first book in a series of books, right? Like the Foundation series?
No, Foundation is different. Foundation is about the study of history and how it repeats itself and how you can basically I predict the future with it. And so you have first Foundation, second Foundation. It's a very dense, heavy book, and
sounds very Minority Report. Sounds very Minority Report.
We need the gif of Clay side eye right now.
It's going to be. I need to change that from disappointment and Kyle to disappointment and Daniel.
Do I need to remove myself? Yeah. All right, and the last thing, I have some show and tell. So over the past week, I had another rotation around this earth.
I'm gonna just require
happy belated birthday.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What was that, Clay?
I'm going to require homework from you. I'm going to make you read one Isaac Asimov book.
Oh, I'm not reading books without pictures. You already know that.
One Philip K. Dick book.
They're not funny. Anyways.
Philip K. Dick will blow your mind, dude. His books are amazing.
At least oh God, I just blanked on it. What's the Dick book that was turned into the Amazon series?
I'm not reading any Dick books. I'll tell you that.
Oh, you are.
Man in the High Castle.
Big, thick Dick books. That's what you're gonna be reading, man.
I'm not even Googling.
The Man in the High Castle.
Man in the High Castle.
That's an Amazon series. I can watch that.
No, fuck. You don't.
No, the book's different.
The book is different.
But I want
the book is.
There is not one literal translation of any Philip K. Dick book or Isaac Asimov book from page to screen at all. Read all of their shit.
But I won't know the difference if I don't read the book.
That's both profound and I think you're killing Clay.
It's like saying I like icing. Why would I eat cake?
Well, to be honest,
adds
sometimes you
more
just
to
buy a thing of icing and eat it. I don't see what the problem is here.
No, you need the cake flavoring at the bottom. But anyway,
I just cannot believe you haven't read any of these like foundations of science.
I know.
fiction.
I know.
The only book I remember reading all the way through is 1984, and I feel like I think we've been like I think I've had
that's a soul suck. Yeah,
yeah, I think I've had enough of these.
Yeah.
books.
But you need to go back when, like, I don't know, Philip K. Dick books are just mind expanding, weird, and hopefully they encourage drug use. I mean,
I already read enough Jonathan Hickman. I feel like that already challenges me enough.
Jonathan Hickman is the Mr. Rogers of hard sci-fi compared to Philip K. Dick. I am not kidding you. Philip K. Dick, I mean, even if you look at if you look at just the stuff that they adapted, not even the stuff that's unadaptable, but the stuff they even tried to adapt, like Total Recall. I mean,
they tried twice.
Yeah, well, that second one though, man.
Once and a half.
I feel like the second one was just an adaptation of the first movie, not really the source material.
Yeah, that was the guy who goes, I think I saw that. I'll write about it.
Yeah. Every one of those like early 2000s remakes like RoboCop and Total Recall are remakes of better 80s films. So
yeah, and that was the same time period they redid Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th.
Oh, that's right. Evil Dead.
Yeah, it all just bland remakes.
Yeah.
But we have better technology, so it looks cool.
I don't know, give me OG Total Recall and the guy's head exploding in space any day.
Did the second movie have the lady with 3 boobs? I never saw it, so
I didn't either. I really had no interest.
Let us know let us know in the comments if there's a 3-boob lady in the second movie.
Also, if there's a little person prostitute with a machine gun.
Oh God. Yeah, put that your review of Total Recall, the later Total Recall in the comments. All right, but what I wanted to do is show you guys because my friends, we had a very small gathering, a surprise gathering too, because it was earlier in the week, but we actually gathered yesterday. So they got me some stuff, so I want to show you guys. So my buddy Eric got me some wrestlers. Like they know me very well, so like. I don't want to say I'm super easy to shop for,
but
probably, yeah. And then my buddy Robert,
nice,
his wife Ingrid, they got me some My Hero Academia stuff.
Very cool,
awesome figures. I've seen those.
Deku and
I've seen those too. Yeah,
young All Might. And then my buddy Caesar got me this giant. Deku.
That's awesome.
Yeah, these are cool. Awesome. I need to find a nice place to put them.
I haven't seen the ones that big though.
No, I had this. So this one's McFarlane. I think they're all McFarlane. Yeah, they're all McFarlane.
Oh, they are?
Really,
okay.
Really cool stuff. And then on Wednesday when I went to pick up my comics, and I posted this on Twitter, I saw that the store had a vinyl. So I picked up this vinyl for death metal.
Yeah.
So this is
which Mondo put that out, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But this one is the lunar variant. So this one you can only get at comic shops.
Oh.
So then I was like, variant, there must be more, right? So I started doing research online.
There must be more.
And then for Record Day this year, DC put out this one.
That's the one I was thinking of. Okay.
For the record shop. So I went to I did the Kyle thing and I went to Josie Records. And they pulled it. Like it's funny because they pulled it for me. I called the day before and they're like, yeah, we can hold it for you. There's obviously a Batman one and it's obviously on its way. I just don't have it yet.
I like the obviously.
I just have to make sure I stay on brand. So
I was going to say, you might as well just put on a Time Bureau uniform because you're always hunting variants.
That's right.
Oh, well done, sir. Well done.
That's a pretty good segue to... Did you guys all watch What If?
Yes.
Yep.
Great.
Yes.
Let's talk about it then. Hold on. I had a thing. Let me see if I can do it. You guys keep going.
All right. What did you think of the animation? Because I remember you commenting.
Yes. So when the
Yeah.
sorry.
No,
When-
go ahead.
When the trailer came out, I really poo-pooed the animation because it just felt very CG to me and very stilted, and I wanted something that looked a little more hand-drawn. But what I learned was when you see them in short clips all strung together for a trailer, it can have that impression. When you watch it fleshed out, it is phenomenal. The animation was great, like really, really well done. Loved it. Loved it.
We're gonna go into spoilers for episode 1 of What If.
Yeah.
For the audio listeners, the visual listeners already got a spoiler alert cue. So if you want to see that, watch us on YouTube.
Yeah, I think that the animation part that pays off is the emotion in the face. I mean, they really put so much into the face. It's almost like, I want to say, like a Maguire drawing, because the faces are so have so much expression, especially in battle. I love that. And you've got, I mean, Jesus, just her. I want to say Cap and Cap. But Steve, but just Steve being normal, regular Steve, and his emotions, and then him behind the mask and those emotions, are what paid off for me.
I think one of my favorite things was there's a sequence that's kind of, I guess, animated to look like a one shot, like a single shot, where you see Captain Carter going through the front of the airplane. She starts kicking dudes in the air, like, and she goes out of, like, the Hydra Stomper drops her off in front of the airplane. She goes through, but the camera just like a single camera following everything with no cuts. And then obviously it's easier. Well, I don't know that it's easier to do with animation, but at least you can, it's a smooth transition through everything. And then she jumps back out of the plane, and then Steve with the Hydra Stomper. Which, who knew that how Daddy Howard just needed the Tesseract to make his own Iron Man.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. I have, which I understand it's key to the story. I did not like Steve as Hydra Stomper. I felt that making him a hero diluted the fact that Peggy Carter becomes Captain Carter, right? And I was all set up emotionally for they're still going to get together. It's not about the fact that Steve is Captain America. It's that he's Steve. Mm-hmm. And that's what Peggy wants, and vice versa. And that he would, like, I almost figured he was going to be her Bucky, like a totally unpowered, like, assistant. And they didn't do it. And it just, when he flew in that first time, then everyone yells, Captain Carter. I'm like, yeah, but Steve just kind of saved the day. Like, why are you doing this to Peggy? Like, just let her be the hero. It really irked me. And maybe that's just me. I don't know, but
I guess you still want to believe that Steve is going to fight no matter what. So Steve would put himself there.
Yeah.
If Stark is crazy enough to build something like that powered by an unknown source, Steve would get it and drive it.
And maybe
that's the only argument I could think of is for Steve being in the field, is he would drive something no one else would, that would be unsafe, but he would be able to still fight.
And Stark could only build it so big, so he needed a smaller pilot. Which
true. Yeah.
I really like the whole, like, every sequence that they pulled from the first movie that they updated to this. It was so cool. Like, you can just see the storyboards, but obviously you have Captain Carter instead of Captain America. But when she comes in with the motorcycle and the Howling Commandos,
that was great.
That was so
cool.
Fun.
I love the design. I love the Union Jack on the shield.
Yep.
And I understand you can't call her Captain Britain because that's probably sometime we'll get there in the MCU where we get a Captain Britain or a Captain or the Britain Corps, whatever.
Yeah.
But man, it's so cool. Like, I really liked it. I like the way that they brought back almost everyone they could. I know Steve his voice was a different actor.
Oh, it was? Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it really sounded like Chris Evans, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it was
sorry.
Video game guys. I can't remember his name.
And obviously Hugo Weaving didn't come back to play the Red Skull.
I wondered about that. Okay.
But it was the same guy that voiced him on Endgame, the guy from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, Russ
Oh,
Marquand.
okay.
Is that his name?
Yeah. I
Okay.
think so.
Okay. Yeah, I was still impressed how many of the original cast they got back, because they got what's his face who plays the Doctor.
Yeah. Shit, I just
God, I can see him.
Tucci, Stanley Tucci.
Stanley Tucci.
Yeah, Stanley Tucci. Thank you. Yeah, they got Tucci back.
I was about to yell. I just saw him in the Pelican Brief. He was the hitman.
I just saw him in this 1993 film.
Yeah, exactly. I just saw the Pelican Brief.
I go to The Big Night. For me, he's the star of the movie The Big Night, and that I think is even older. So.
Oh no! See, I always go to one of my all-time favorite movies, which is A Life Less Ordinary, where he plays the dentist. So yeah.
Now I wanna walk you guys before we get to the end scene, the end stuff. I want to walk you guys through Daniel's journey in life, a little story time. So,
yay!
Growing up, I loved going to play the arcades at the grocery store or the, whatever, the pharmacy. There was an arcade called Marvel vs. Capcom.
Oh, yeah.
Where you pitted Marvel characters versus Capcom characters.
Street Fighter,
Mega Man, other games.
Oh, okay.
Whatever other games. One of the coolest things, though, there was two characters in Marvel that I wasn't very familiar with. One of them is named Blackheart, who looks super cool.
Yeah.
The other one is called Shumagorath, who looks like a big tentacle monster with one eye in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know this. That's incredible.
So, fast forward, 20 years. Oh God, 20 years to now.
You're so old.
Yeah.
I'm halfway through my life.
I've been married that long, man. So I'm just saying.
So fast forward to now, I see the tentacles coming out of the portal, and I know in the comics, Shumagorath is like a giant being. And then they say, "Oh, the tentacles are expanding, and they're gonna, And I'm like, "Oh my God, is that Shumagorath, or at least somebody like one of the species? Because it's a full species that they're all over the place in their own universe." And I know that Shumagorath is a Doctor Strange villain. Usually,
wow.
So in my head,
so is Blackheart.
Yeah, so is Blackheart. Well, I don't know that they'll bring Blackheart. I haven't seen him in the comics in a long time either, which is upsetting because he has such a cool design.
He was
so we're bound to get him.
Ghost Rider movie.
He wasn't Ghost Rider, but he didn't look like the Blackheart I know. So in my head, all these wheels are turning like, oh my God, they're gonna do Shumagorath. What the fuck is this Multiverse of Madness movie gonna be? So I was very excited when Hydra's champion, could possibly be a character that's, I would say, a deep cut in the comics.
That is, like, I had never even heard that before. I just assumed it was like a Lovecraft Deep One reference, like tentacled space creature they're pulling into our realm.
I'd forgot about the video game completely.
Yeah.
But I love that character.
That's incredible.
Play her. Because it is a her, isn't it?
I don't remember. That's a good question. I really don't remember.
I don't want to misgender a monster in a universe of superheroes.
Yeah, I don't remember at the time. I mean, it's been, I guess I never got into the lore of Marvel vs. Capcom. I didn't know.
There's lore?
I didn't know why we were fighting. I just know that we were fighting.
If they didn't do a comic book, they missed out. Tom Taylor would have tore that up. Yeah.
Oh, that would have been so cool. I'm sure there's comics out there. So,
wow.
Let me know what you guys thought of the end of the.
I loved it. I loved seeing her just get down with the shield and push her way through. But also when she has the sword, when she pulls the sword and the shield, and she's there to fight, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was great.
All the action sequences were fantastic. I mean, I just love seeing Dum Dum Dugan again.
And Neil McDonald came back to do the voice for that too.
Hey.
Oh, did he? Oh, very cool. I love the ending. I love the way. So what was kind of fun. Oh, wow. Jesus. Nice. So what was kind of fun for me, at least, was
Marvel Starro.
Yeah. My my wife and daughter, my daughter in particular, didn't know What If was a comic series. So when I explained afterwards, like, oh no, like I don't think these stories are taken straight from the comic, but the concept comes from the comic.
Mm-hmm.
I had kind of a love-hate relationship with this episode beyond just Steve becoming a superhero. And that is, on one hand, the 30-minute time frame feels very much like a What If story in the comics. They never outlive their welcome, right? It's like, here's the concept. You're going to get it in between 10 to 22 pages, and then we're done, right? Yeah. My only complaint was I felt that while I agree, every one of the action scenes was beautiful and fun to watch, I felt there were too many of them. I wanted a little bit more of that, because what is interesting about What If is the world building.
Yeah.
It is, and I feel like we just didn't get enough of that. I would have liked to have had a little more of that. So super minor complaint. I'm still really excited more excited now even for the rest of the series.
Yeah, the next one should be the What If T'Challa became Star-Lord.
Oh, wow. That's going to be good.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's going to be cool. I do also, total props to Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher. I want to see this on the screen. Yeah. That was incredible. So,
which is, it's weird that we didn't really see the Watcher. We only saw like his outline. He looked like one of those celestial beings instead.
Yeah.
As opposed to the giant baby on the moon.
Well, which I can kind of get. Can you imagine someone who's never seen him in the comics, suddenly he's just standing on the moon? Like, let me tell you a story.
We saw them in
Guardians too, though. Yeah, we do see him standing on the moon with Stan Lee.
Yeah, he's.
That's right. That's right. Okay,
he's a delivery guy or something like that.
I forgot about that. Okay, yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, that's all the previously on, I think, that we have. Now, if you I don't know if you guys saw the document, so I'll say this in advance, and then we'll get to the news. For our question of the day is going to be, name some of your favorite What If comics, so we can recommend it. And I wanted to do a whole video on it, and I probably will next week. But if you have any in mind that you've read recently or that you remember fondly, because there's some interesting premises.
I need to throw this out there. I think I brought it up on the show before, but I need help. So this is less of I'm positive and more of this might be a fever dream, but I need verification. There is a What If story. And the more I think about it, the more I think it may have been a backup story in which, someone in the Marvel Universe, my memory tells me it's the Fantastic Four don't get their powers, but I've read that issue, so maybe this is an alternate version of it. Somebody in the original Marvel Universe doesn't get their powers, and because they're all in Manhattan, the event that happens keeps every other original person from getting their powers. So it's like Spidey gets held up and doesn't go to the science fair. I think Daredevil doesn't stop the kid from getting, he goes
to a pet shop and to buy turtles instead.
Yeah, exactly. Every one of the people, because of what's happening in the source of this story, downtown Manhattan is preventing everyone else from getting to where they need to be. And I remember as a kid, that just blew my mind. I was like, this is so cool. Like, this one event is impacting the rest of the universe, and I can't find it anywhere. I don't know if I dreamed it. I don't know what it is.
I was looking at a bunch of What Ifs the other day, like just the titles. If I had to take a guess without just going to watch it right now, and we can check afterwards, I would say the What If Dr. Doom became a superhero, because I can see that being the only, like, one of the premises that would lead him to become a superhero if nobody else gets their powers.
Right, but it's you know what? Maybe that is it, because in my brain, the way I remember it is I feel like it's a retelling of the first issue of FF. And what they're fighting is that big monster creature that comes up from the sewers, because they're fighting Mole Man, right?
Yeah.
And that causes a traffic jam in New York. And literally, it is like Peter Parker on the bus, like, oh, we're stuck in this traffic jam. I'm not going to get to the science fair. And then it's like somebody else in it, like, I think Doctor Strange in a taxi, like, oh, I can't get here. And it's like, I can't get to the hospital. Or Don Blake, like, it's like, I can't get to the airport and fly to Norway and find a hammer. You know, it's like that kind of thing. And
was it a series called Powerless? That was maybe like 10 years ago? Okay.
No, it is very much a what if issue. And in my brain, I feel like it is because I started reading What If when it was brought back. So it may have been just a backup story.
Well, I guess I'm just going to have to read them all.
All right, do it. And then when you find it, or if someone who, let us know in the chat.
Like, if you watch this and, leave a comment. I really think that could be the premise for the what if Doom became a superhero, though.
It could be. It could be. And I don't.
Because of the focus on Fantastic Four.
Right. Exactly. I remember. Oh, go ahead, Clay.
Oh, no. I think I've plotted out every what if.
For the show or just in general?
In general. And it goes from what if good person was bad? What if bad person was good? Yeah. What if solo person joined team, or what if team never happened? What if team had different powers, or superhero had different powers? What if team or hero took place at a different time period? What if this major event ended differently? What if in this major event, this person lived instead of died, and this person died instead of lived? I think that's every kind of what if they put out.
I have one that goes against that, because I was reading an article the other day about like the craziest what if stories, hoping that this fever dream I had was in there. And the very last issue of the original run of What If was what if the original Marvel bullpen became the Fantastic Four. and apparently I think they got Kirby to draw it. And so Kirby's the Thing. Stan Lee is Mr. Fantastic. God, I forget. It wasn't someone I'd heard of before, but one of the original bullpen, I think, editors was Sue, and then somebody else I hadn't heard of was Johnny.
Well, her brother, of course.
It is just such a weird concept. I mean, it's like, why would you do this? But they're like,
bullpen.
But it was like the book's ending. Let's just do a crazy ass idea. So.
Okay, we'll follow up on this. I think reading a bunch of... I mean, I have Marvel Unlimited. I can read all the what-ifs they have there.
Yeah.
But, okay. Well,
because most of the what-ifs end up becoming something that they actually use. There was a lot of, like, what if Spider-Man had a daughter, and then they did that MC2, and, so they were Elseworld for Marvel. It was their little, like, hey, we're going to dabble in this. If you like it, we'll, keep going.
Yeah. A lot of the time, in most recent times, the what ifs have been used to test, like, to give new talent opportunities.
Yeah,
which they'll just retell the same story, and actually they'll do it in more of a long form as opposed to just one issue. Josh,
sorry, I was gonna say, so the first what if I ever read, has a really interesting backstory. I was just reading the history of on CBR, so props to them. But it was like 87, 88, and I'm at the spinner rack, and there is a Steve Ditko drawn what if. It was a special, because the book had been canceled like 8 years before, called What If Iron Man Was a Traitor? And apparently the backstory to it was, the original series had ended, but they had already hired, there were some stories in the works. And one of those stories was Steve Ditko drawing the story. He had it completely done, finished, submitted it, and then they just canceled the title. So flash forward like 8 years later, and an editor there was like a big super fan of What If, and said, I want to bring this back. And Marvel was a little hesitant, like, well, we already did it once and canceled. And then he said, oh, you know what? I just heard there's a Steve Ditko issue done and ready to go. And they pulled it out and said, well, let's just do it as a one shot and see. And it sold like hotcakes. I mean, I remember I saw the cover and I'm like, I want to read this. And, I'm like a 12-year-old kid. And I'm like, this looks great. And I had that issue. And then it sold so well that they brought back What If. So just a weird like stepping stone in the history of What If there. Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, that was a long first segment, but I think it's because we had a lot to talk about to catch up on. If Ka had been here, that would have been the whole show. But we
Yeah,
do have
yeah, true.
some news roundup for our main topic, which we'll hit on real quick. I'm gonna change the order of things because I just want to touch on this real quick.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
this particular set of news is really just for me. On Monday, we got after 6 years, we got a new one shot of Bleach, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
fantastic, lovely. I love this manga so much. It had some issues at the end because the creator was injured and couldn't work as fast, and it was kind of a mess in the end. But I still love it. I enjoyed it so much that I went to my nearest eBay and I ordered a Shonen Jump from Japan so I could have
Ooh.
the issue that this was printed on. These books are thick. Like this
Yeah.
is incredible. I remember buying Shonen Jump here in America. They were not this big. Like
I thought they've always been that big.
No, it was about. I think this might be a double week shipping.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're about half that size usually, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I ordered this on Monday and I got it on Thursday. So that from Japan. So that was pretty quick.
Wow, that is fast.
It made me miss having a printed weekly Shonen Jump because I used to subscribe to that. So if you're not reading manga or if you like Bleach and you didn't know, which I don't know how you wouldn't, but just know that you can go get new Bleach. Yeah, so this was really cool. I just wanted to have the one where he came back. I feel like this would be a nice memento to have.
Find an old one. I'm curious to see the size difference.
Yeah, I'll have a box of them somewhere because I subscribed for like 2 years, mainly because they came with like promotional cards for trading card games like Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that. I wasn't reading much manga back then, but yeah. So now we can move on to, I guess what I'll say our main news story, and Clay's gonna give. I'll introduce it, and then Clay's
thank God.
do the deep dive.
You guys don't know about Substack?
On Monday, we got news that writer James Tynion IV will be leaving Batman. He won't be renewing his contract with DC, and that's because he's moving his stuff over to a creator-owned, I guess, Substack, which Clay will go into more detail. But after this news came out, I guess more creators started either announcing or reminding people that they're already on Substack. So this is a completely way to deliver content as far as comics content goes to the people, because it's completely different than anything that we have. There are subscription services like Marvel Unlimited and Comixology and stuff like that, but this one is specifically for just one creator. Somebody made a comparison. I was on a stream with a buddy, and the parallel we made was like, this is like an OnlyFans, but for comic book creators.
No, see, I was thinking this to me feels very much like when Image was founded.
Yes.
But think of the huge startup difference between then and now, right? Image founded, they had to literally create a publishing company, right? So they had to think of who's going to print the books, how are we going to distribute the books, market the books. And now it's just like, hey, here's my link to Substack. Yeah. So it's like night and day, but it feels like the underlying pinnings are the same, right? Like it's very much about these creators now have the cachet to just go off. I mean, a lot of them already had it, but to go off on their own and just basically create their own thing without any of the shackles of Marvel or DC or even Image at this point. So
let's turn it over to Clay because he's the one that did a research. Because all week I Googled multiple times what is Substack.
I can't believe that y'all weren't subscribed to anyone on there.
Nope. I had never heard of it until this week.
I mean, same. I'm totally free on it. I'm not in a place where I can subscribe to anyone, but everyone has a free platform. So you can subscribe and then change it at any point. But if you just go to Substack, it is a newsletter. That's really all it is. So I had gotten it from, I believe I started with Drew McWeeny, who reviews movies. And he was creating one that he was going to have a paid side and a free side. So I subscribed to the free. most of the people that I've seen start these are doing a $5 to $7 a month fee. Let me see here if I can run down who has. Molly Ostertag is doing $5 a month or $50 a year for her Substack. Scotty Young is doing $7 a month or $75 a year. Saladin Amid is doing $6 a month or $60 a year. But there are differences in all these because people are providing, some are providing content, but like Scott Snyder already has a deal with Comixology and Dark Horse. So he's teaching classes. So he's going to have $7 a month or $75 a year for weekly teaching tips. And let's see here, Chip Zdarsky. I love his because if you, he has a $70 a year, $7 a month, or you could do $250 a year and be a chip nut. That's what he's calling his super fans or chip nuts. But he's also,
does he get naked?
Fingers crossed.
If we get enough pictures, maybe we'll check it out for you guys.
If we get enough patrons, we'll subscribe to all this. With the 250, that's what some of the creators are offering these big bundle deals at the end that offer all the other content plus something.
Yeah.
With chips, you get exclusive video hangouts, 2 copies of rare image variants and remarks, and more. He also noted in his newsletter that he will be leaving Twitter because he goes, it is a hellscape, and if you want to read funny stuff from me, it will be here. So
all right.
So that's enough for me to want to subscribe to him altogether. Let's see here. Who else had? Scotty Young has a $300 package deal. So you get everything normal subscribers get, plus you get 2 I Hate Fairyland covers and 2 Zoom Hangouts. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So everyone's adding something a little different. It's really weird. I hope people go into Scott Snyder's going like, this is a class. Like he's going to be holding like weekly teaching tips. And so it's a lot different from what other people are offering.
If it's a good selling point, if you're somebody that wants to be a writer, he was Tinian's teacher. So like,
he did the DC talent classes.
Yeah, he did the DC talent classes.
And he said that's why he did this, because he said he loved that so much he wanted to get back to teaching.
So I mean, I don't know that taking notes from Scott Snyder would be the worst thing if you want to become a writer. Or at least
you might just end up writing Justice League.
Yeah. And then you can get your own Substack a while later.
Yeah.
James had a 2-year head start on this because he said when he saw like fluctuations in distribution that he signed up with Substack, and when the pandemic hit, he was selling short stories on there. So he already started selling content. And I believe the people at Substack approached Nick Spencer to start with, and then it kind of spread to this group of people who've announced first that they're going to do this, saying, hey, we want to get in the comic business. So you subscribe to their Substack, you get a newsletter, you will get, it looks like in some cases, comics, new content, interviews, chances to hang out. It just is going to vary from creator to creator. We don't have a dozen creators yet, but I feel like there's going to be more coming.
Okay.
I know Hickman is the most expensive one I've seen. He's doing $8 a month, $80 a year. I don't know if he had a mega deal, but he was offering a lot of incentives to sign up early. And the way this, from what I've read, is that Substack is giving them grant money. Mm-hmm. That is the setup for this. Is they have grant money that they're giving all the people who are doing this comic business. They get a pretty big chunk up front. And then after, I believe, the first year, their cut is only 10%.
Whoa. Wait, Substack's cut or the creator's cut?
Substack's cut. And
okay.
So they don't own the IP in any way. They don't own the publishing rights in any way. So if James Tinian does a book that he does just through his Substack and then wants to publish it, He can publish it with whoever, however he wants, and he gets 100% of the profits. It's all his. So, or well, I mean, him and his creative team.
Yeah,
Because
Right,
I've seen in some cases, some creators like Hickman, he's bringing on additional writers and he's creating a universe.
yeah.
So he's going into it, and so that leaves a lot of questions on where X-Men's going to be after
It's
this.
the 3
Exactly.
and 3W, right? 3 and 3W's Hickman stuff. Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
Hickman's creating a universe? He never does that.
But James Tynion said,
there's some guy like, hey, finish the quorum first, please. So he's just yelling at his unfinished work.
yeah, let's see. What did James Tynion said? This is the best contract I've ever been given in a decade as a comic book writer.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of deal that we're talking about here.
You can check out all this stuff, all the stuff that we're talking about. Tynion posted it on his Substack on the free version of it.
Mm-hmm.
The announcement that he was leaving, what Batman has meant to him, which I think it's really cool. And then just why he's leaving Twitter, because he's also leaving Twitter, which that part kind of sucks. But I mean, I guess I completely understand people not wanting to be on Twitter because the website is
hellscape.
It is a hellscape.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know it sounds like a lot of upfront investment, maybe, but if you think about it, let's say I buy 2 Tynion comics every month. That's already the price of the membership.
Right.
Yeah.
And with this, it could be that I'm getting even more stuff as part of his.
Chip Zdarsky has also said this is replacing conventions for him too. You want to get an autograph? You come right here. And
that makes sense.
So we'll miss out on ChipCon. I don't know if y'all remember ChipCon when Chip held his own convention. Search Twitter for some fabulous photos of that. I think there might be some not safe for work stuff, so there's a warning.
I'm at home, so I'll search.
I'm trying to remember who else said that, but I mean, this is going to replace conventions. They don't have to go out and put their product in front of you. You're already subscribing to them, whether it's free, $7, paying an annual fee, or you're a super fan.
That is such a smart thing, because I can only imagine how much time and a burden it is on creators to go from con to con to make money. Whereas this way, people come to them, but also it frees them up to do more of the stuff that they likely will put onto Substack, right? Like it's a self-feeding machine.
That's what they said. They said further they get is the just more they'll be able to create. Because I think Hickman is looking at this as like, it's not just me. I'm going to create like a publishing empire, a universe, something of my own. Probably, I mean, in the same idea of what Image was doing, but he's already thinking, I think, beyond what they did in their first thing. Because when we saw Image come out, it was all like, oh, what book are we going to get at our comic shop? We weren't getting digital exclusives or variants of shit at that point. Well, they're kind of the reason we started getting variants and shit like that at that point.
I think the other thing is too, I don't know that this stops them from eventually publishing their work, like printing it out into a collection or something like that.
Right.
Right. Like, let's say you don't want to do Substack because you don't like. I would assume you would read most of this digital. Right. So like nothing's stopping them from eventually like, okay, here's a really nice hardback where you can get everything. If you didn't want to subscribe throughout the whole year, you didn't get to read it first, but now you can have it and own it. And if you're somebody that needs a physical thing to kind of,
Yeah. And that's the thing is there are physical exclusives in some of these, and some of these it's just digital. So you're really, you are just buying a digital subscription. And that's what, I was asking Aaron over at Urban Legends, what he thought of that. And he's like, who just wants to have digital stuff? I mean, that's kind of why we have comics, to have that physical copy. But a lot of these places are doing that in the higher tiers or when they decide to publish. So we still don't know. I mean, there's a publisher that could come in and just offer the Substack people a deal and make a huge win.
Like the Scott Snyder thing with with Comixology, he's already said all those titles will eventually be published on by Dark Horse, just in the future.
So he has his own deal worked out.
Yeah.
See, and so God, you guys are bringing up such interesting points I hadn't thought of. Because on one hand, this inverts, I think, the way that most comic creators work with publishers, right? This to me feels more like what began to happen when web comics and web cartoonists were approached by like Simon and Schuster or Dark Horse, or someone said, "Hey, we want to turn your web comic into a book." Right. So what this does for these creators now is the publishers come to them. If it's the Simon and Schuster, if it's, the graphic novel imprint of Abrams, or if it's Image or Marvel or DC, they have to come to them now and say, we want to publish your book. So it inverts what I assume is the typical way that works. Now I'm speaking out of turn here. That may not be the case. But the other thing is, I feel like this is also a good way for them. Like, I wonder how many of these creators are looking at what Millard did with Netflix.
Yeah.
And thinking this could be a multimedia, like thinking ahead, right? Like, why does this have to be about publishing, right? But this could be the stuff that I own, and a Netflix or a Hulu come to me and say, we're going to do the Hickman world.
And
so
also, why would I go farm somebody else's IP farm when I can make my own? Why would I make Batman stories where I create new characters? That we saw that article this week that Marvel would send a $5,000 check and an invite to the premiere to people that are creating characters that they're using in the movies. Like, why would I go make them characters that are making them billions of dollars without me seeing any of it? When
Ed Brubaker's story was heartbreaking. He wouldn't even. He was invited to Winter Soldier, couldn't get in, wasn't on the list, and he had to text Sebastian Stan to get in to see the movie about the character and story arc he wrote, and he only got $5,000 for it.
And he said he's made more money from the residuals of being in the movie in a cameo than from the character and in the movie at all. And one of the reasons is because actors have a union, and we could go into a whole conversation about unions and stuff, but we won't. But it's something that definitely you should keep in your minds, because these corporations just kind of take advantage of all these creators like that.
Well, I mean, sorry, I was just gonna say, I'll throw out there. I mean, there were attempts, particularly by Neil Adams in the mid '70s, to create a comic creator union that kind of fell apart, but they were there. I mean, this is an idea that extends back, to the time 45 years or so. Kirby, yeah, exactly. Well, it was it came about because of trying to get Kirby compensation. It came about trying to get not Simon and Schuster, god damn it, Siegel and Schuster credit before Superman the movie came out. I mean, it was all these things, and so.
So now it's an interesting thing with these people going to Substack, because Chip has said he will continue to work for Marvel. I mean, he's going to continue to do Daredevil. Some people have, Tinian has so much work. He's got like a movie in development, and not all his content is going to be comic books. He said like one's going to be a novella, but he is going to bring art to a lot of his books that may not be comics. He said all my stuff will have art, so he's hiring people to do artwork in the stuff that he'll be putting out. So again, it's a big unknown, but it's kind of exciting.
We'll see. My one.
It's gonna have pictures. I'm just saying.
It's gotta be 50% or more pictures. I already have a tough time reading. I already have a tough time going back and reading Sandman, because that has a lot of dialogue. But
yeah, it does.
And Tinian's stuff on Department of Truth has a lot of prose. He's trying to be sneaky and throw a lot of prose in his books. But you can't fool me, Tinian.
Yeah, it's interesting. His big exclusive. I mean, like for $250 a year, you get everything that he's already doing.
Yeah.
The big incentive is variant covers, like 6 variant covers. He said that only will be published this way. Like I won't do them any other way. They'll be these copies, and that's it.
I saw that and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna fucking end up buying this. But I guess my only question would be like, let's say they start doing like an ongoing series on their Substack. Uh, with your subscription, like I guess we'll need to see. Like, would you be able to go back and read the stuff from before? Would you have to buy that separately?
There
You know,
are
like
there are
add-ons?
specifics listed if you go to
Yeah.
everyone's subscription plan
Okay.
that says archives will be available for things specifically like Scott Snyder said his teaching
Yeah.
stuff. I believe Molly Ostertag is showing you how to do a graphic novel, and I think she had
Oh.
additional content that's going to be in there.
Yeah.
Also, there is a problem. There is a problem with Substack because they do have some anti-trans people on their platform.
Oh no.
Into encountering that, at least two people that I've read about, Molly and Chip, are donating funds to LGBTQ organizations because of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there has been that clash over the
That
people,
was
the
that was
people
one
that are
thing
doing that.
one thing I heard as all this stuff was coming up, because once it, like, we weren't the only ones that started looking like into this, right? Like everyone started like, what is Substack? Who's on there? What else is on there? And then they get to those kinds of things, and then you're like, okay, well, let's evaluate, and maybe this will also give Substack a chance to evaluate or reevaluate who they have on their platform.
Yeah,
Right.
So especially because the comics community can be the worst at times. But all right, is there any more Substack? I do want to hit on a few of the things real quick.
that's pretty much all that I found.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of other creators that no one's really announced since then.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do what Clay said and just go. Let's sub for all their free stuff to stay in the loop.
Yeah. I may have to do that because I've never even been to the site, and I guess I'm still scratching my head. Like, you said, Clay, like Substack came to them, which okay, but like, why Substack and not like say Patreon, or why not get some startup funds and build their own service that's just kind of comic centric?
I believe because they when I was searching for grant information about how they do grant, they give grant money to writers all the time, so they have some sort of
Interesting. Okay.
money flow that they were able to put into comics and do this way. And I'm very curious about the DRM of it all too. Like
I think also the fact that their distribution is already set up, like, it's a big deal. So
yeah, and I'm curious, once they start publishing again, you're going to have like 8 different creators who have 8 different IPs. Are they going to try to get together and find one publisher that can put out a high quality book the way they want it?
Yeah, and this may lead to a new publisher rising up that they're like, hey, we're like a print on demand type of publisher that, like something like that. So
and how bad is the Image deal that they're not even doing that? Because that seems like that would be the place you would go. But Image
exactly
owns a lot when you use them as your publisher.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm curious about.
Because they're comic creators. Why would they be in the position to dick over other comic creators?
I would think Image maybe has some, maybe because they have to go through Diamond or something like that. Like, that might be a limitation.
That could be.
So I don't know that Diamond makes it in the next 5 years.
No,
I feel like they're collapsing. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I don't think they're gonna, and this, if anything, is another nail in that coffin.
Yeah,
because this is a purely digital platform. They don't need to distribute.
Yeah, but I mean, they said that they are going to publish stuff and they are going to print stuff. So there are some aspects of this that are still going to end up in comic shops. And I've read, a lot of them go, I love the direct market. I don't want to fuck over a store. So
there are
whatever
models
that
out
answer
there.
is, I don't know.
Yeah, no, there are models. Like, you could look at TKO, right,
Yeah.
which bypasses Diamond and just kind of works directly with shops. Another model is one that I find really interesting. It's an audiobook platform called Libro FM. And they are designed to basically thumb their nose at Audible while supporting independent bookstores. So it's just a big screw you to Amazon.
What's it called?
And so it's called Libro.fm. And so what's kind of cool about it is when you go to sign up, and I'll warn you, their audiobooks are expensive. Like you're never getting the cheapest price on an audiobook.
I thought you were going to say explicit.
Explicit, yes, they're all X-rated. But when you go to sign up, though, they will say there's like a little link like support your local indie bookstore, and you just type in like your zip code or whatever, and it gives you a list. So I support Interrobang Books, which partners with them. So if I buy an audiobook through Libro FM, it helps financially support the bookstore.
Oh yeah, and TKO did something similar during the pandemic at the beginning, where
that's right, they did.
Anything you bought through their website, you could select your store, and they would get the portion as if you had bought it through the store.
Right. So I could see these Substack creators doing something like that. Like, how do we create a network that will work with, like maybe local stores just sign on, or there's a way to reach out to them and be like, what mutual benefit can we have here? I want to promote you in the brick and mortar store. You've got your fans online. How do we work this out?
Yeah, so, I imagine it's going to be a clusterfuck for stores who went from at one point just dealing with Diamond, then dealing with Diamond and whatever the fuck DC does on Tuesdays, and then now to have those two options and whatever Substack creator does throughout the week. So you may have like Fridays may just be Hickman Day because that's when his books drop.
Yeah, I think Lunar's doing a pretty good job because they just send you a bunch of stuff in advance. Like they'll send you the next 2 weeks together or whatever, So just kind of that's DC
the DC one.
The
okay,
DC distribution one, yeah. But
is it only DC using Lunar, or are there others?
It's only DC as far as I know. I know Penguin's supposed to start doing Marvel stuff. I think in October.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the Penguin deal.
Yeah, we covered it we covered it in a previous episode. So if you haven't heard that, I think it's our first live video.
Oh, really?
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, that's all the news. The comic industry is changing, so we'll kind of keep track of that as it goes by.
I just don't know if I'm super excited for Substack. It's just I want to see how it's going to change comics.
Yeah. So we'll see. Next thing I wanted to touch on real quick, and I don't know that we are the people to talk about this, but I'm a fan of Tim Drake, and there are some big news.
Oh, same.
Right. He's my favorite Robin, and today in this week in the latest Batman Urban Legends, pretty much Tim Drake asked the boy out on a date, and I don't know that they've confirmed what his sexuality is, but it's at least bisexual. So I was trying to see. Obviously, there was a lot of opinions online, and so we'll just add our own here. Like I said, I think Tim Drake is my favorite character. There was one thing I think people sometimes say, like, well, why don't they? Oh, Clay. Oh, the dogs. Okay. Yeah. So as I was reading it, I was like, Tim Drake's kind of like it makes sense because first he is a teenager, but he's also the one Robin that has always kind of struggled with his identity and his place in the family, in the Bat family, right?
That's interesting. Okay, I had not thought of that, but that makes perfect sense. So
Nightwing is he's the good one. Jason's the bad boy. Damien's like the heir to be Batman, right? Because he's and we have other Robins, but I guess as far as their plays, like Tim Drake's the one that's like, who is he meant to be? Is he Robin, Red Robin? He changed his name to Drake recently, which is weird. Don't worry about it.
Okay, thanks.
But he's back as Robin. So I feel like he has always struggled to find this place in the world, and I think exploring not just this but his sexuality kind of makes sense in this context. So I'm interested to see where this goes. I'm just glad they're telling interesting stories, because not just about them being heroes and doing stuff out in the world, but also about their personal lives, because I like reading all that stuff too as well, like some of the slower moments or the downtime for the superheroes. So yeah, if you haven't read Batman Urban Legends #6, which is an anthology book, so you'll get more than one story. I think
good. Okay.
Yeah, I think this is the conclusion of that Tim Drake story. That kind of leads up to this. So
That's good.
um,
I like you. I love Tim Drake. He's my favorite Robin. He always has been. I've also always felt he is the one Robin who truly deserves the position,
yeah.
and he's also the least tragic of all the Robins. You know,
Up until
I mean, to a certain degree.
up until Identity
Up until
Crisis.
Identity Crisis, yeah, true,
Yeah.
true, very true. But I guess like his like original, you know, kind of storyline. So yeah, I love this. I'm all for exploring characters' identities, sexuality, what have you. I mean, there's also news that like the writer of the new Harley Quinn animated comic she's like the first I think African American queer disabled writer, and that's just awesome.
Yeah,
So,
we saw, if you go back on the channel, we recorded a panel at Zeus for
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
for creators from the LGBT community that they had and then T. Franklin, who also wrote Love is no, not Love is, well, I think they wrote a book that Adrian recommended and borrowed, but like I think we all kind of started borrowing the same book when we were
we did. We like passed it around.
Yeah, but T. Franklin wrote that, and yeah, I agree. And if you want to go see that panel, like I said, it's back on the channel somewhere.
It was a while ago. It's like,
yeah, it's not the best quality video, but it's still pretty interesting. Phil Jimenez is in that panel, and I forget who the third creator is, but it's pretty cool. And Zeus hosted that panel, so that was very cool. Let's see. I have some news, but I want to wait for Clay to get back for those, because it's Moon Knight related.
Yeah, I saw that. I can't speak anything. How about the Venom movie?
Oh yeah, we did, and I don't have an answer for that, but we did get news that unfortunately Sony's going to push the Venom movie out of their slot in October because of everything that's going on with the pandemic, and so I don't have anything to say much about that. I understand the decision to push the movie, and maybe other movies will get pushed. What I do have is a crazy tinfoil hat theory that
hit me.
The reason we have not gotten a Spider-Man No Way Home trailer is because we're gonna see something in Venom 2. That's gonna kind of connect multiverse wise to that, so they're waiting. I don't know, like it's very out there. I don't even know what it could be. We do know that that universe is the same one as the Morbius movie, where we've seen the Vulture, right? Which is Michael Keaton's Vulture from Homecoming.
He's in that?
Yeah, he's in that movie.
Oh,
so he's in.
I didn't know that.
It's been so long since that trailer came out, and then the movie keeps getting pushed back, and nobody even knows if the movie's real at this point anymore.
Yeah, no, I thought it was still in production. I didn't know. Is it done?
Yeah, I think so. I think they've had it ready for a while. It's just
with Jared Leto. It's finished. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. It's news to me.
but we haven't seen anything because all the movies got pushed back and everything. So, yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be wild to see what happens with all that stuff. But I think that was my theory of why we haven't seen a No Way Home trailer, because it feels like for a movie that's coming out in December, we would have seen at least a teaser or something by now.
Unless they're planning on pushing it back again. Like, I feel like so many decisions are, what else may have done it is I wonder if the Black Widow lawsuit has done anything, because maybe they were planning another simultaneous release and now they're getting a little bit of cold feet with that lawsuit. So
yeah, I mean, I know they've said that they won't release Shang-Chi on streaming, right? They've made that very clear. We haven't. But
they have to release that because all the merchandise is out. Like it's out there. There's that train you can't stop. But I wonder if No Way Home is still not far enough along that they
What?
could kind of just put the halt on all the ancillary stuff, you know?
Yeah, and depending on what the movie's gonna be, like how does it tie into Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness and stuff like that.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be interesting. Hopefully, we get this stuff under control, which is the important thing, so we can go back to doing things that we
Yeah.
like.
Please, people, wear your masks and get
Yeah,
vaccinated.
get vaccinated,
Just
wear your
do
mask.
it.
And let's get out of this mess. We were just talking about the Venom pushback because I wanted to wait for you for the next.
Oh, sorry.
No,
Dogs.
it's all right.
They all decided
No, it's fine.
it's time to go outside and let's fight.
Oh boy.
They argue going down the stairs. They did it's just the weirdest.
So
So Venom.
well, we're done with Venom, I think. You can go back and watch my crazy theory on why we don't have a Spider-Man trailer yet. But
he just took off his tinfoil hat.
yeah.
So
We don't normally talk leak footage that stuff that's not unofficial, but this one's kind of for Clay. I'm sure you saw it, Clay, throughout the week.
Yeah, actually Shelby saw it first and said, "Hey, check this out. Is this Moon Knight?" And I'm like, I think I've seen this in a fan film.
So
I don't mean to be insulting to it, but I think I've seen a Moon Knight like this in a Moon Knight fan film.
So this is the supposed leak promo or whatever of the Moon Knight costume. I will say, were you saying something, Josh?
No. Go ahead. Sorry.
I will this morning, and I was trying to upload the video, but it's a weird format because of my phone. There's like, I guess they're already shooting Moon Knight somewhere, so people have of them shooting the show. So maybe that puts a little more behind this. I don't want to judge the costume until it's something official because there could be effects that aren't finished and stuff like that. But overall, like if they're going with this kind of like mummy looking theme, that's cool.
Yeah, I do dig it. I mean, I've seen a bunch of Moon Knight fan films, so I see people try to recreate that look and stuff, and it's really hard.
Yeah,
but that does look great. It does. It keeps the hood in place, puts the logo on it. I like that. I mean, it just has the pure look.
Is there no cape, or do you think they're going to CGI the cape?
I would think you'd have to CGI cape. His cape is so much a part of the look.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It has to be. I mean, to me, I hate to say this, but maybe it's Spawn Cape 2.0. Maybe it's a better version of what Spawn was with his cape in the 90s.
Oh, we have the technology to do it better now.
Yeah, I mean,
the only Marvel character with the cape was Doctor Strange, and they pulled that off well. So
made it a whole character.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it seems like in that shot I found there's no cape. He's just wearing like a bodysuit in the hood.
Yeah, because I can't imagine it would be easy to fight in a cape at all.
That's what I've always thought. Yeah.
No cape, said Edna mode.
But if you're gonna do the Sienkiewicz style look, and I not to saying that they're going to do it, but they did use a lot of that in New Mutants. I mean, it would work in here. It would just be beautiful to see that cape animated, and I'm just excited for the fucking show.
Did you guys see Gail Simone's tweet about it?
No.
Here, I'll share my screen. Hang on. This is funny.
It's got to be a mega troll. I'm sure.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Hang on.
Earlier this week, she tweeted, "It's time for us to get a Green Arrow TV show. It's his time."
Oh, Gail.
That's good.
The best follow on Twitter. She keeps it from being a hellscape.
Yeah, she's a light.
For our audio listeners, it says the new Moon Knight costume is weird, and it's like a sailor costume from Halloween. It's just funny. Anyway, I'll stop sharing.
Pretty good.
It looks like something Buster would wear for Motherboard.
Yes, exactly.
Real quick, we do want to touch. It was Free Comic Book Day on Saturday, August the 14th.
I totally missed it.
It was so funny walking into our shop because Shelby goes, "Let's just go get comics and we'll run home." She's like, "Oh my gosh, there's so many people!" And I was like, "It's Free Comic Book Day."
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff. I got some cool stuff. I missed out, and I think Clay, did you got the Stray Dogs free comic book?
I got the Stray Dogs free comic, and I got the Suicide Squad King Shark book.
Cool.
Both I heavily recommend for people who are regular readers to get these because, for one, Stray Dogs has an additional story that goes with the first arc, and if you've heard me recommend this book, I'm preaching. I love this book, and it's so fun and dark and weird.
I couldn't. I mean, by the time I got to the story, it was a little bit late, so I couldn't find one. I also missed out. I wanted the Enter the Slaughterhouse, which was the boom. It's connected to something's killing the children.
Yeah,
the Tinian book. But I did get this. I had never seen it's a textless variant of the King Shark. This wasn't free. But
wow!
But it
wasn't free.
This one wasn't free because this is a 1 in 100 variant. But it was only $10.
Totally worth it. I love it.
Yeah, because the point of Free Comic Book Day is I always try to buy something.
Yeah, same.
Not just get the free books, right? Because the stores buy the books. They're free for us, but they're not free for the stores.
The stores pay for the shipping and all that shit.
They still buy the books. And then they just give them out to get people to coin. So if you ever go to the store for Free Comic Book Day, I will say, Clay, I'm not a big on the speculator market, but I did see that for some reason the Stray Dogs book is hot.
One, it gives you that additional story
that
isn't available anywhere else. It's also a complete reprint of the first issue. So you're getting more.
I think the cover artist is also like a different cover that was bringing up the value. So I don't know. Yeah, and I don't know if stores got shorted or there wasn't as many of those. Yeah, there's the Stray Dog.
Wow.
Yeah. Really cool though.
Yeah. 17 plus. This is an adult book. It deals with human and animal harm.
Yeah, and if you want to read the King Shark, and you have a DC Infinite subscription, you can also read it there.
Okay, so the best thing about King Shark is it starts to give his origin story.
Oh, cool.
That's your selling point for getting this. The second part is that it also includes the Suicide Squad Get Joker Black Label story that's being written by Brian Azzarello.
Yeah.
So that's in here too. So this both those must get if your comics shop still has them, pick them up.
And for the most part, the DC one should be pretty easy to get. Like I said, I don't know.
Yeah. Don't the big publishers usually like the Monday after Free Comic Day release them on Comixology and other platforms?
Sometimes they do. So hopefully I can at least read the Stray Dog story. I do want to read that book because Clay's hyped it up so much. So
I know Clay hyped it up. My buddy Mike hyped it up. I'm like, I've got to read this thing. So
maybe one of these days, Clay will see on my notes I read Stray Dogs and will be very happy. Before we start the episode,
can I just reread Beasts of Burden instead? Because I love that book.
or we three.
No, not We Three. We Three's too dark. I'd rather read Beasts of Burden.
All right. I guess I don't know. We're running really late, so let's go ahead and we'll just do a what if thing later where we talk about our favorite what ifs instead of bringing it up when Kyle gets back.
Sure.
Because most of my what ifs became real stories.
Yeah.
Most of the what ifs just became like an alternate universe or another thing. So.
But let's go into recommendations, and I'll start real quick because I don't have anything really good. But as you guys know, I love recommending books that are upcoming. I'll probably review this for the channel. Kang the Conqueror #1 is coming out this week, so I want to check that out. If anything, just to like get refreshed on all the Kang goodness that I may not have read before. So yeah, go check that out. See, Josh, you already have something up, right?
Yep. Pretty. I think I brought this up on the show before, but my actual print copy came in. Weird Tales has come back.
Ooh.
Cool.
And this is the first issue. It is, as it says, the return of the magazine that never dies. Just a lot of really great, just, kind of weird short stories, weird fiction. This is volume 68, number 1, issue 363. So they're basically continuing the original numbering to a certain degree. And number 364 is already out. What's interesting is you can get it as an audiobook. You can get it digitally on, I think, any ebook store or directly through them. But the print copies, you have to order from them. I will tell you, I ordered this like maybe a month and a half ago, and it just arrived like a week ago. It took them a long time to ship it out, but they're a brand new company, so I'm sure they're getting everything into place. But I've always loved weird fiction. I'm glad this is back. Check it out. They have a cool site, links to various ways to get it. So
cool. All right, Clay, do you have anything for us?
Yeah, I got a book from Shelby this week. She'll always find cool books that she thinks that I like, and this one just had the best cover. It's from P. Craig Russell. It's a Doctor Strange story that says, "What is it that's disturbing you, Stephen?" And it's really kind of dark and twisted, and I love it. The art is fantastic. If you don't know P. Craig Russell's art, I definitely recommend it, because if anything takes place in a Doctor Strange world, he can draw it. But they go specifically to the Ditkoverse. Or is it
really?
Yeah, what they call it. Let me see where. Damn it. But yeah, it's specifically named Ditko, and it's a witch who has brought Doctor Strange there to balance the magic in their world. And and it was just a random pickup, and I loved it. I mean, I really just love getting into that world of magic where they don't have to explain everything, and it's an action-packed story the whole way through. I would love to see the third Doctor Strange movie get to this level, to have a straight action-packed magic film where you don't have to explain the magic stuff.
Cool.
Oh, yeah. That would be cool.
So,
all right.
Really, I never. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
All right. And with that, we've come to the end of the show. Thank you guys for watching. Let us know about all the stuff we talked about in the comments. And we'll come back next week. We'll have some more fun stuff for you. We'll probably keep watching What If. I know Kyle would have brought up. I'm not gonna say I'm glad Kyle wasn't here, but I was definitely not ready to talk to him about all the DC shows that came out this week. I haven't watched Stargirl. I haven't watched Titans. I'm so behind on my TV watching with all the new shows, and I know he would have wanted to talk. And I know there's a big thing that happens in Titans episode 3, so I'm glad he wasn't here to spoil it. But we'll stay on top of that. But yeah, that's it. Hey, you know what? If you just finished watching this or whatever, maybe your comic shop still has free comics, so go check them out. If not, just go buy something. And if you can't, just go to the library and get some comics there.
yeah, they've got really kick-ass stuff.
Really cool stuff.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh.
Hail Bebo.
Oh, we have an outro. Hold on.
We have an outro.
What an amateur. And let's get out of
Let's
here.
ride.
Thanks everyone for watching.
Twitter loves you.
Oh yeah. Clay.
Hail Bebo.
Josh?
My vagina is haunted.
All right. Bye.
All right.
Yeah.
I've got it now.
Love it.